We begin with the latest on a deadly accident in Niagara County. We're learning more about a man and his dog struck and killed by separate vehicles on a dark road this morning. Good evening to you. The 55-year-old man walked into the road after his dog was hit.
Then he was struck by another vehicle. The accidents happened before dawn on Akron Road in the town of Royalton. Neighbors are now calling for officials to lower the speed limit there. Senior correspondent Rich Newberg talked with neighbors about today's tragedy.
Well, it happened in the very early morning hours, but one close neighbor happened to be up at the time. Frank Wagner and his wife happened to be up at around 5 o'clock in the morning when they heard a commotion across the street. It was still dark out.
We looked around and then we thought somebody hit it there, and after staring across the road there in the dark, we found out that it was Bob's dog.
Bob Strassel had gone out to retrieve the remains of his yellow lab, and then he wanted to scrub the street clean. But then he, too, was struck by a second car about 20 minutes later.
I see the cop with a flashlight going back and forth, and I went over, and there's Bob laying in the dish.
A Niagara County Sheriff's deputy had been writing up the report of the dog at the scene when Bob was suddenly struck on Akron Road in front of his house.
The deputy's pretty shook up. He's a young deputy, and to happen before his eyes, it's pretty traumatic.
He actually didn't see it, but he heard it, right?
He heard it.
The deputy rendered first aid, and Bob was airlifted to ECMC, where he later died. The woman who hit the dog has not been charged. The 23-year-old man from Barker, who hit the dog's owner, is still being investigated.
He passed all the tests. He actually consented the blood, which we drew at ECMC. We took his cell phone. We're going to see if he was on his cell phone. We're going to take all the necessary precautions.
Neighbor Bill Teven said this was the 5th accident in this stretch of Akron Road since May, and he wants to see some changes.
I actually pulled somebody out of a car 2 houses up the first week I was here, and Mercy Flight took them away. Now this is the second batch.